Episode 282. When you don't create your reality, you face your reality.
You're listening to the very best podcast in the world on health, wealth, and happiness. Please remember to leave a review and share with all your friends and family. And here is your host, Lars Hilser.
Welcome to this gorgeous Tuesday here at the very best podcast in the world, your only source in the universe for personal supremacy through health, wealth, and happiness. So, let's talk about reality, right? Because that's a thing where a lot of people kind of lost it, particularly during these trying times that where you had to take sides. And no matter how dull or dark that side was, you kind of sided with those people who had the more appealing message. And this is really what this episode is not about. It's not about social division. It's not about which camp you want to take or you want to stay in. It's about your reality. And more than the division part, it's about, which side you decided to take, which position you took and held, more likely than not. That's where we're going to go with this episode, in that it's about building your own reality rather than being confronted by one that is spiked more or less by outside influence. So right after our housekeeping, we're going to go down that rabbit hole, that very dark one. But housekeeping, as always, first, item number one. As everyday sharing is caring, meaning that, please share this content far and wide. Reason being that, there are wallet rapists out there who are going to try to take advantage of seekers who, are looking for answers or motivation, more or less. And they get this here for free, while the same or similar content, at least, is going to be available, on all of these personal improvement websites with all of these quote unquote gurus in their Bentleys and Lambos and private jets and, that kind of ordeal. Thing is, they're going to rape your wallet. The reason they have the Bentley is, because they took all of the money from a lot of people. And when they took all their money, they said, hey, this next one, I promise, I swear, is going to change your life forever. Just max out your credit card. And a lot of gullible people did in search for their next fix. And, they saw those motivational gurus driving off into the sunset in their Lambo or Bentley with the finger stuck outside the window and a faint sound of "gotcha, sucker." And to prevent that, just share this content. Same mission statement, only it's free. Item number two, views herein are my own, do not represent those of blah, 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 my employers, which I don't have, blah, 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 blah. And item number three, rehauling and remodeling mode slowly but surely coming to an end, but only slowly, ever so slowly. So shitloads of work to do. And that's why the episodes are going to be a bit shorter, a bit more concise. Now that we have that out of the way, let's get started. So the title is When You Don't Create Your Reality, You Face Your Reality. And this means really nothing more than that you are the creator of your reality. There are certain bounds and barriers out there which you have to adhere to. For instance, laws. For instance, your tax man, because if you don't pay your taxes, you're going to go to prison. And those kind of ordeals, right? But within these boundaries that are out there, Your reality is yours to create. And no matter how bizarre or spicy or dull or whatever you want it, that's entirely up to you. But the more heat you want to give on the burner, the more speedy you want your reality to become, the more flamboyant and colorful and tasty you want your reality to become. A lot is going to be about, breaking the rules of society just a little bit, just enough, so that you can freely unfold within those boundaries. Well, maybe that was a bit too cryptic. So let me get you to a really colorful example lived personally by me some 20 years ago, almost a lifetime ago for some people, but still very memorable for me. So prior to my first company, my life was kind of like go with the flow, meaning, you did the 9 to 5. Well, actually, still very motivated. Let's do it 9 to 7 or 9 to 8 on some occasions, because some clients only got home late. So in the financial sector, that was kind of a limiting factor, more or less, right? But I was go with the flow, girlfriend, car, and making decent money. Had my office, and all those good things that a young aspiring person in the financial sector needs. It was, I don't want to say too perfect, right? Because I was getting bored slowly but surely. And so after my company, or after I started my company, everything changed. I worked very, very hard, very long hours over the weekend, and just to get everything topped off, you got to do your bookkeeping and, that kind of ordeal. And my then better half decided that wasn't anything for her, right? She was the normal 9 to 5. So she got home, then she, went to the gym, and then, but we didn't get a chance to see each other very much because, on the one hand, she wanted the money. She wanted the successful person in her life. But on the other hand, that successful person should be doing the 9 to 5 gig. That's what a lot of girls really expect. And I wasn't willing to forfeit my success, not my success, because I was anything but at that moment. I was working hard. I was making okay money. I could make a living by that point, and it was like, she left because she couldn't really bend me into the direction that she was wanting to go in, which, entailed a kid, because her biological clock was ticking. Mine wasn't. At least they were not in sync. Let's put it that way. But, an interesting thing happened. I got liberated, really, in a large variety of ways. My higher powers were gone. Whose nose I had broken in the process. My girl was gone. So, I had this really big chunk of available time, theoretically, working 168 hours a week, right? And that wasn't anything abnormal, right? And by that, I mean, I got, the sleep that you need to not die. But I was working really consistently, 120 hours a week, really putting in the extra effort, mainly spending time educating myself, right? So 8 hours of the day was working. Normally 8 hours of the day was self-learning or self-teaching, whatever you want to call it, and really bringing myself forward in the field that I was working in. So I had no higher powers that were reducing the circumference of my, little success bubble that I was starting to build. A lot of these inhibiting factors had moved out of my life. So I was building my reality to a degree that a lot of people can't fathom. And it took a lot of risk and a lot of courage to jump out of the 9 to 5 wheel, That was the reason our biological clocks weren't synced up. I was like, wait, you want a kid now? I just started a business. There's no way I can guarantee that this business is going to be around in 2 years, and the kid is going to be more likely than not. But that was kind of like the responsibility factor where I said, okay, look, this ain't working out. Nonetheless, the whole thing crashed and burned later, different story. Anyhow, I had a significant amount of control over my life. And I used that time, like I said, to become insanely proficient at a lot of things, with loads of time spent on reading, learning, educating myself. And that put me in a position where I became way better than my competitors, and landed me really, really, really great jobs. Because not only was I better, I stuck out like a sore thumb, really, among my competition, all the suit wearers. And I was just different, really, also the way that I approached the business. I would tell people in their face that their operation had significant problems. And I would tell them what those problems were. And I would say, look, let's sit our asses down and let's figure something out. And that usually entailed, long-term consulting session where, they would pay me greatly and handsomely and justifiably so. One client turned out to make 125 million euros increased revenue within a matter of 5 years based on the work that I did for them, right? So my reality was self-created rather than that of a lot of friends who were, I wouldn't want to say fine. They were fine by their definition. And so from my understanding, they were fine, but they would look at me, like this crazy person. I would go back to the village that I was born and raised in regularly because my folks lived there. And, these interesting looks would come inevitably. I was like, whoa, you're back. Hi, where have you been? And that kind of ordeal. Nobody really knew. And a lot of speculation started to happen, but I was the IT guy, for lack of better words. Anyhow, what am I trying to say here? What's the point? The reality I created for myself gave me tons of liberty, tons of time, and without forfeiting any of it to any higher powers out there. And while my friends, they were good for their definition, but I believe that some of that, some of the escapades I went through during this wild roller coaster ride to create this reality would have been good for them because they live in a reality that is theirs, but which they didn't really influence and are still not doing so now. So what's there left to say, right? What's the reality you want to live in? Is it the one you're in, or is it the one that you create? So in that sense, I'll leave that decision to you. Again, I'm the last person on the planet to judge anyone for the reality that they're in, if they're comfortable. I'm not going to motivate anyone to make the first step towards something different. Because if you're good, okay. If you aspire to something more, change your reality. So in that sense, hope you have a good rest of your Tuesday. For those of you who've had your Tuesday, have a good night. Leave your hands above the blanket. Peace out. Be healthy. Stay safe. Whatever. We'll be back in touch tomorrow when we're going to learn about 6 lessons from the Squid Game. That was really interesting. See you tomorrow, folks. Bye-bye.